I'm Taylor.
And I'm Jane.
And this is Bitch and Batch,
our series where we break down this week's episode of Colton Underwood's season of The Bachelor.
Here we go!
So right off the bat, I want to say that we're still at the time of the show where there are absolutely no stakes because the only people who go home are the people who get no screen time.
We open this episode with Colton vlogging from his hotel room. That was a nice touch. I thought it was going to continue for the rest of the episode, but it didn't.
I think the show would greatly improve if instead of confessionals, everyone vlogged.
Yeah.
Because then you'd get honest, in the moment opinion, the real journey more accurately.
I liked the vlog. It was a nice touch.
And then it never came back.
So we have our first group date. Who's on that group date? No idea. Anyways.
Oh, it's everyone whose name I know.
I think he was very strategic with the first group date and then the one-on-one. And then the second group date was just free-for-all. First group date, we have Nick Offerman and Megan Mullally. Which is really funny because on Xfinity, if you record the series, it says the cast. And it said Nick Offerman and Megan Mullally last week. And I was just that was a mistake. But it wasn't a mistake. They were really there. And I first thought they were going to do stand-up. It was more storytelling. The theme was their firsts.
Which made me anxious that we were going to hear some real uncomfortable stories that I didn't need to know about these women, that I was annoyed that the show was making them share on the first date. Mm-hmm. But it ended up being fine mostly, except for a couple people were annoying about it.
Yeah, specifically Demi, who I guess is the villain for right now. She's one of the younger ones. She's the one whose mom's in prison, right?
Yeah!
She's the one who called her mother from federal prison. She was also the one, right, who was comparing vanilla chocolate and strawberry cake and said she was the funfetti cake. That's Demi, and she's causing quite a ruckus.
I think she's just kind of immature.
They clearly needed a villain for this episode because Catherine wasn't doing anything, as we predicted last week.
What do you mean? She shoved a microphone over. The sound guys must have hated that.
So they all tell their first stories. Most of them have to do with meeting Colton last week. Mm-hmm. And Demi's, she decided she was gonna set herself apart from everyone. She ended it with, I know what I want and I want to kiss you. And she got off the stage and kissed Colton, and it was very awkward. That was her whole thing the entire night. She was gonna be bold and go after Colton, which honestly, in terms of the villains we've had on all the Bachelor seasons, pretty low stakes.
My favorite thing she did that horrified all the other girls was at the cocktail party after the group date. She went and picked up the group date rose and was this one's mine. And it's not like she carried it around or actually was oh yeah, you guys didn't know he gave this to me. She just picked it up, played with it for a second, then put it back down. And all of them were you don't touch the rose. Only Colton can touch the rose when he's ready. Now I want to go on The Bachelor, find where the roses are kept, and walk around with one tonight. Be this is an object that y'all are given power to. It means really nothing. It was a holy object that she wasn't allowed to touch, and she was desecrating it.
The person who was the most mad was Tracy. She's one of the older one of the ones who wears blazers and stuff. She's a little edgy or whatever. She was very pissed off about Demi and let us know that the entire episode. So who gets the rose for the group date?
Oh, it was Elise. It was Elise.
You was Elise.
Yes. I love Elise. Can I just say?
She's great. She's a little bit older. Well, she's not actually old. She's 31, but in terms of Bachelor.
They act like she's 50 and they're the cougar. But also Tracy's the same age and no one's really saying it. They do reference that there are multiple cougars, but can we stop calling them cougars? They're 31.
They're 4 years older. 4 or 5 years older.
Yeah.
Colton, that's not that big of a age gap. Anyways, so now we have the first one-on-one date, which goes to Hannah B.
Hannah, Alabama.
Who I thought was gonna get the first date. The first one-on-one.
Did you say that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's a pageant girl, but did he kiss her last week?
I don't think so. I think he kissed Miss North Carolina.
Yes.
I don't remember her name.
But he was kind of into her. We clearly saw he liked the other Hannah better. We got a lot of Hannah B screen time last week. So their date starts off with getting in a Jeep and he drives off and we're seeing some rocks. Turns out they get on a horse instead, go horseback riding, then hot tub. There it is. The first hot tub of the season.
The first random hot tub in a desert.
I missed it dearly. By the end of Ari's season, I was so done with Ari. The hot tubs, they slipped past me. But they are my favorite Bachelor trope. So here we are once again in the desert with a hot tub. And Colton starts talking about how he's not really that into Hannah.
He's just trying to get to know her, and every time he asks her a question, she blanks because she's really nervous. Which, mood. But it just was so, like, awkward. They couldn't really get a conversation going. I think they eventually did, but it was a long time going.
But then he did give her a rose. I was, like, slightly surprised, but I feel like she's gonna cause some drama or something because she gets a lot of screen time, which is, you know, indicator that we're gonna get something out of her.
I mean, it's that age-old Bachelor theory that early on, the Bachelor, Bachelorette, the lead, chooses the handful of people that they really like. The producers are like, okay, well, since you have your 6 people going, we're going to give you a list of who the rest of the roses are going to go to, and you just stick to that.
That was that. We got the first one-on-one. It was really awkward. Cool, good time. Next, group date. I was shocked there were 2 group dates. That normally happened in the second.
I don't know. It was such a long episode.
We got a lot of comedians, though, so I wasn't mad about it.
Oh, yeah.
So we got Billy Eichner. We go to Camp Bachelor, which is just summer camp. Billy Eichner's there. The reasoning is not really that clear. But he, like, goes up to Colton and is like, I'm gay. You should try it.
The 2 of us watching were just like,
this is maybe one of the first times on The Bachelor that they've outrightly mentioned gay.
Do you remember Jason's brother?
Oh, that's true. Jason's brother's gay. How could I forget?
I loved Jason's brother and his husband or partner.
They were the best part of Becca's season. Well, there were a lot of good parts of Becca's season, and Garrett wasn't one of them. All right, moving on. So we're at Camp Bachelor. The girls are split up into red team and yellow team, and they're going to play some games. And Billy Eichner's gonna stand there and watch. And the winning team gets to stay overnight with Colton, like at camp. I don't know what the sleeping situation is. We did not get that. We basically got like another cocktail party, but at camp. The red team wins. They stay overnight. So Heather tells him that
she's never been kissed.
Yeah, and I think she gets the group date rose. She doesn't kiss him yet. She just opens up to him and it's like, I've never been kissed before, so I can empathize with you. And she asks Colton, like, what was it like telling Becca that you were a virgin? Zoned out a little after that part because he didn't want to hear about it again. But that was their nice conversation, and then he gave her the group date rose because he was appreciative of that gesture, which, you know, honestly, we're getting new angles to go about the virginity thing. We did still mention it probably 17 times, but different viewpoints this time.
Honestly, Colton's growing on me a lot. I really was annoyed when they announced that he was the Bachelor, but it's really becoming clear to me that this is a guy who was raised in a family and a culture and a profession filled with toxic masculinity, and he didn't really feel like he fit in there necessarily. Then all of a sudden he was put into the Bachelor world, which is largely populated by women. So I think for the first time in his life, he's surrounded by like understanding women. He just seems to be like happy and confident and like respectful and nice and genuine.
Yeah, and he wasn't like given a set storyline this season because like during Becca's season it was like, oh, Colton dated Tia, and then during Paradise it was like Colton and Tia are now dating again. And we saw how that went. It was great. And now he doesn't have a set storyline aside from the fact that he's a virgin. We get it. We know that's his story, whatever. But we actually get to see his personality this time because the last time it was like, we need to hear you obsessing about Tia. That was the angle. And at least we have something other than that angle this time.
Mm-hmm. Were you annoyed that between every commercial break there was like a teaser that was like, coming up on The Bachelor, and it was all stuff that's gonna happen way later in the show? Yeah. You're giving me content that I want to see now and telling me that it's about to come up, and I know it's not coming for a long time. How dare you do this to me?
My roommate was watching it with me and she was like, there were a lot of women in the shots where he's running away, so she's wondering if the season's even gonna last like the full extent. We don't know because we don't know yet. We have been given so little in the teasers other than him running away. I'm wondering if like we get this teaser for the season and then once he does run away, once we get past that, then we get more teaser for the rest of the season. But like if we're predicting that he's not gonna propose, who's to say that the season doesn't end early?
I feel like ABC wouldn't do that.
I feel like not either, but it's a possibility. Who knows? Really anything could happen this season. Oh, we got the shower scene again, like for real this time instead of the opener.
I'm so sorry, Colton. I'm so sorry
they're
objectifying you in this way.
This same shower scene we got last week. It happened again. Katie did her makeup outdoors when we went to the cocktail party. There was just this shot where there was a mirror outside, full-length mirror, and she was just doing her makeup outdoors, whereas everyone else was inside. Interesting choice, producers. There was 2 girls who were like trying to make the most noise. A woman who did like the I'm swimming in bitches, whatever. She brought out a blowhorn and was like, I'm horny right now because of the horn, which was stupid. Someone else came out with like some pots and pans and started banging them in Colton's face because she was like, look, I can make noise too. And it was all annoying. Demi interrupted many times. Elise called rock, paper, scissors, paper, rock, scissors.
Just all of a sudden, I just heard the phrase, paper, rock, scissors. And I was like, hold on, what? Isn't it?
Well, that was Elise.
Oh, well, I like her otherwise.
Yeah, it was a funny moment, though. We don't really know who goes home because they all look the same.
Yeah.
I do have, Eyebrows, who is the woman with the brunette with really strong eyebrows. She went home. And then Angelique.
There was an Angelique?
Yeah, I didn't know that. There was some blonde girl who I'd never seen before. And then Annie, who was the one who was on Ellen, who got quizzed on football scores.
Oh, I remember her, but I guess Colton didn't.
So, did anyone else go home besides them? Let us know in the comments. We're not sure. Final thoughts. I'm very excited for the season. This episode was a good kickoff. Like from last week, because last week was 3 hours of, all right, when are the limos gonna happen? This week was like, all right, we got some comedians. We're gonna see some like slightly edgy blonde women. We could go anywhere. I'm still very interested in Nicole. I don't think she's gonna go that far, but I really like her. She was the one who made the joke during their like first stories that this is the first white bread she's ever tasted because she's Cuban. I laughed at that. I still think he really likes Hannah G.
He does.
He like hasn't given her like any like roses or anything yet, but he still really likes her.
I want to see a little more content from her in terms of like her interactions with the women, because I feel like I don't really know what she's got up here right now. I just know that she's pretty and he likes her, and I want to know more about her so I can like her too.
Do we have any predictions for next week? I feel like he might give Katie a one-on-one. I'm like waiting for the Katie date.
Okay. She's gonna go far.
Yeah,
I don't think she's gonna win, but I think she's gonna go pretty far.
Yeah, I feel like it's time. It's Katie's time. Well, see you next week!
Woo!
Like and subscribe!